Hi, first graders. It is time for math. It is Wednesday. Today we are starting our new topic, and it is telling time. The first lesson is 13-1, and this lesson is basically teaching you about the hour hand and the minute hand. You really need to understand which hand is which so that you can read a clock and tell time correctly. So what I did is I know a lot of houses don't have a lot of these types of clocks in them. This is called an analog clock. A lot of times we have the clock on our stove or our microwave or our television, our cable boxes. That time is called the digital time. It's when you see the digits, the actual numbers. This is a harder clock to read. Some of you might have them in your house, and if you do, that's fantastic. You can practice using that clock in your home, but if you don't, you can make your own, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly instruct you show you how to make your own analog clock, and you could begin with just a big piece of paper or a plain white piece of paper or construction paper, whatever you have in your house, and you draw a circle. What I did was I took a round platter, and I traced it on my paper. Okay, and then what I did is I started with those four numbers. I started with the 12 on top, the 6 directly below it, the 3 in the right, and the 9 across from the 3. Then what you'll do is you'll just take your pencil and fill in the rest of the numbers on a clock. And now here's my little class one. This is the ones we would be using these if we were in school. But you can see the 1 and the 2. So it goes 12, and then the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I'll go over it with markers so you can see it better. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so there are 12 numbers on an analog clock. Top number being 12, and then we go around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now another thought I just had, you can use a paper plate. If you guys have a round paper plate, you can use that to make your clock also. Just write the numbers all around the clock. Today's lesson is understanding the hands on the clock. Okay, it's what the pointing lines that tell you or point to a number and to tell you how to read what time it is. I made my 2 hands on the side of my paper. What we can do is we can make them on the side of the paper, and then you could cut them out and you can use them to represent the time that I give you. And if not, you could just draw the hands on a separate sheet of paper, cut them out. All you need is just a big arrow and a small arrow. Now there's a reason why you need a big arrow. One of the arrows, the hands, is longer than the other hand. The smaller hand on the clock is the hour hand. So the shorter hand is the hour hand. The long one that points to the number, that's the minute hand. You need to know the difference between the two. You can't mix them up. Today's lesson, we are learning about reading the time when it's o'clock, okay? When you read a clock and the minute hand is pointing to the 12, that means it is o'clock. So we don't say 12, we say o'clock. I'm going to cut out these 2 hands to show you how to use this clock on another day. But for today, I'm going to use my mini clock to represent the time. The page that you'll be working on today is 13-1. It looks like this, and it's basically drawing in the minute and the hour hand on a clock, reading the time, and then drawing the minute and hour hand on the clock. And that's pretty much it. So if we were in school, I would probably hand out these clocks to you. And now knowing what we know about the hour hand and the minute hand, we would probably just go over which hand is which, okay? So as you can see, the hour hand is shorter than the minute hand, okay? So you see how the minute hand actually goes all the way out to the numbers and touches the part of the circle where the hour hand kind of is little and it doesn't reach them quite. The reason is because it's easier to read the clock like that, okay? Hour hand, minute hand. Hour hand, minute hand. Hour hand, minute hand. Another thing I would always tell you in school is look at the word hour. Look at the word minute. Which word is longer? Minute. Minute has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Hour only has 4. So that's another way I would teach you. Well, the hour hand is the short hand. The minute hand is the longer hand. Hour hand, minute hand. Hour hand is the short hand. Minute hand is the longer hand. We are learning how to read a clock. And today we're going to concentrate on o'clock. That's the word right here. O'clock. So if I asked you to show me 5 o'clock, the hour is the 5. The minute is o'clock. Oops. O'clock tells you the minute. I'll write it here. Okay, so 5 is the hour. O'clock is the minute. When you look at your digital clock, it looks like this. 5 o'clock. The hour is 5. The minute is o'clock. Whenever you see 00, that means o'clock. The minute hand always points to the 12 when it says o'clock. So if you have your clock with you, whenever that minute hand is pointing to the 12, it means o'clock. So if I started my time here, I have my hour hand pointing to the hour. Can you read that? So it would be 1 o'clock. The hour hand moves. 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. The time that I asked you for, 5 o'clock. So today's lesson, we're just concentrating on o'clock. The minute hand is going to stay on the 12 because when it's pointing to the 12, that means o'clock. And then the hour hand can move. So if I moved it, say here, my hour is 10. My minute is o'clock. So the time here shows 10 o'clock. How about here? If you said 8 o'clock, you got it right. How about here? 9 o'clock. Try that one. Hour is at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Now, what happens if both hands are pointing to the 12? Can you guys guess that time? It's lunchtime. 12 o'clock, because both hands are pointing to the 12, both the hour and the minute. Okay, there it is. If I separated it a little bit. 11 o'clock. And let's try one more. 7 o'clock. Hour hand is 7. Minute is the 12. 7 o'clock. Okay, so for tomorrow's lesson, I will cut out the hands on the clock that I created. You can do this project if you want. Some of you might even have little mini clocks at home. If you do, that would be great. If not, it could be a quick craft. You just make make a quick craft, and I'll keep looking around for little clocks maybe that your parents can use or maybe print out to recreate, but you can use a Post-it to make the hands so they're a little sticky, so you can stick it to the clock. Whatever helps you with telling time. We only learn half an hour and an hour, so I'm not going to make it too difficult for you. We're going to keep it simple for first grade math, but having this clock might help you. Again, you can use a paper plate and write 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 all around the clock, just like this. And then hands, you could always even use maybe a short crayon and a long crayon. The long crayon is the minute hand, the short crayon is the hour hand. Be creative. Use whatever you have in your house. I'm going to cut this out for tomorrow's lesson. We'll use this and then the mini clock that I have to teach. Today you're working on o'clock. We just did it. It's kind of simple. You're just going to draw the hands on the clock. So like say, here, I'll give you one more example. Say, even if you just drew a clock quickly on a piece of paper. I'll draw it on my board so you can see it. I'm just trying to give you some ideas, guys, okay? So just quick circle, does not have to be perfect. 12 on the top, 6 on the bottom, 3 here, 9 here. Go in and fill in. I'll even fill in the other numbers so you can see. First you do those 4. It lines up your numbers really nicely. So 12, 6, 3, 9. Then you're going to fill in your rest of your numbers. Okay, and I'll even put a center. There's the nose on the face of a clock. Okay, and then say Mrs. Sirigliano gives you a time. Say, oh, you can even draw it on a dry erase board and then erase the hands. Don't touch the numbers, just erase the hands. I'll show you how to do it on a dry erase board. That's a good idea too. All right, so say I say, show me 2 o'clock. Now it could be written in digital, or I might write it like this, 2 o'clock. Well, we know that the 2 is the hour. We know there's an hour hand and the minute hand. We know the minute hand is longer. Whenever we see o'clock, we know it's pointing to the 12. So start from the center, go straight up to the 12. That's the minute hand. The hour is telling me 2, so you do a short hand, not too long, just a little hand. That's 2 o'clock. Okay? Now, if you want to have a dry erase board, all you do is just erase the hands. And I say, show me 8 o'clock. 8 is the hour, o'clock is the minute. So minute hand goes all the way up to the 12. Hour hand is the little hand. It's going to point going towards the 8 o'clock. Okay, show me, and I'll give you a couple seconds to try it, or watch me. You don't even have to try it right now, because you probably don't have a clock right now, but try this one. 10 o'clock. Start from the center, minute hand all the way up to the 12. The hour is the short hand, just a little itty bitty hand pointing to the 10. 10 o'clock. Okay? Today's lesson is understanding the hour hand and the minute hand. I'm not worrying if you have a clock or not. You don't have to worry if you don't have a clock or you don't have time to make it. The whole idea behind today's lesson is knowing the long hand is the minute hand, the short hand is the hour hand. You need to know those. And also knowing that o'clock, that means the minute hand points directly to the 12. Okay? Don't worry if you don't have a clock. Just know hour hand, minute hand, o'clock. That's what you need to know today. And then on your paper, you're going to represent that time by drawing the hour hand and the minute hand on the clock that they give you. Okay? Number 1 is done for you. Take a look at it. They want you to show 7 o'clock. So if you look at the picture, the minute hand is pointing all the way to the 12, and the hour hand is pointing to the 7. It's shorter. Okay? Show me 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. And then there's some algebra reading on the bottom. You have to fill in the missing time. Mark the missing time, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So you have to fill in what time's missing, what comes after. So it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then you start over again. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Okay? All right, hour hand, minute hand, o'clock. That's what you need to know today. Don't worry about the clock. Don't actually worry about having a clock with you today. Okay, don't worry. See ya. Bye. Have a good day.